capture is started. Okay. 3, 2, excuse me. 3, 2, 1, go. Greetings and welcome. This is the recently promised tour of my website. Now, of course, what we're looking at the moment is not my website. This is this is my desktop, where I have the cover picture for an upcoming Doctor Who DVD set that I'm quite excited about because I'm a big Doctor Who nerd. And you'll notice I have everything pretty sparse and well organized. Well, that's just the way I like to keep my desktop organized. Maybe I'll tell you a little bit more about it at some point. Anyway, let's just hop on into Firefox and we'll start right from ground zero. So we'll start with the web address, which is, of course, www.zaranyzerak.com. As you can see, I visit my website quite frequently. I have a lot of pages to it, but we'll just go to the main index page, which is right here. And I have this cool animated GIF. Ooh, it's so dark and mysterious. Don't you just love that? I actually made this in ULEAD Cool 3D. Just basically doing a simple extrusion on a font and then moving the lights around to create kind of a funky glowing effect. And then I saved it out as an animated GIF, which I use on the website. So we just click on the logo, and it takes us to the main index. Oh, there's a good-looking fella. That picture there was actually taken in 2002 as part of my. It was part of a series of pictures that were taken for promotional purposes, because I was working on a Zaranyzerak music album at the time, which is still not finished, but that's neither here nor there. You've heard some selections that were going to be a part of that, I think, if you've been on my website for a while or been on my YouTube page for a while. Anyway, that was one of the promotional pictures. I still have them all archived, and I basically just wanted to have something to put in the main area there other than having to type stuff. So I figure I'll just rotate some pictures through there from time to time. And it gives you a look at your host if you don't know me from YouTube. So, okay, first off, we'll start on the left here. I tried to make this site simple and functional. So I realize it's not the most aesthetically amazing site in the world, and I really don't care, honestly. It's easy to navigate, and that's all I really wanted. It loads fast, and that's a good thing. I didn't want this to be a multimedia extravaganza. I just wanted it to be a nice little sort of central hub for all things Zaranyzerak on the web. And for the most part, it is. So if we start off, we have destinations. We have home, which of course just takes us to this page. We have the video section. I'll give you a quick look at that. You'll find some videos here that actually aren't even on my YouTube page. And you'll also find slightly higher quality versions of some of the ones that are. I haven't actually updated this section in a million years because I've been doing everything on YouTube for the past couple of years. I actually originally put this site together before I had even really heard of YouTube. And I basically paid for web space on this web server. And they've always been really good, so I've just kept the website around, and it sort of gives me a place where I can put things that may not be appropriate for some of the other websites as well. So this is sort of my everything else. So you can see writer outtakes, lost treasures opening, thoughts, which is all stuff you probably recognize. Then there's a few you may not know, such as the two guys Extreme Dance Off and the Extreme Dance Off outtakes. That used to be on my YouTube page, but I actually pulled it when I got accepted into the partner program because it features music that was not of my composition. So to avoid copyright infringement, I pulled it off my YouTube page. But you can find it on my page. And then, of course, we have the Tom and Sean Show, which actually goes to its own index. There is a separate Tom and Sean Show index, which I'll give you a little more of a look at in a few minutes. Then we have a few more video letter openings, which you're probably somewhat familiar with. You got Video Letters to Jason 30, which was my first big digital editing project. Video Letters to Jason Update 2, which was an intro featuring a lot of PS2 video game footage. My PS2 was pretty new at the time that I did that. the making of the Jason Update 2 titles, and a Grand Theft Auto Vice City video, which is basically me using the tank cheat to get a tank and just going on a crazy rampage through the city. So anyway, there's a few videos there that you may not have seen, which aren't on my YouTube page, and you might want to check those out. And there's information about each of them as well, so I have like little blurbs about them. I'd like to do a little bit more with this page, with the video page, because I don't know, the layout's kind of boring and dated, and I'd really like to punch it up a bit. So I'll probably turn this into some kind of a nice, neatly organized table of some kind. You'll also find at the bottom of the video page a link which goes to my message board. Yes, I have my very own forum. I've actually had this forum longer than I've had the website. I had a few other websites before, just using free services. And this is the last remnant of them. If you scroll through the messages, you'll see there's stuff dating back to 2000, probably even earlier than that. Let's go as far as we can here. 1999, looks like. Yeah, June of 1999 is where this originally came about, and it's been there ever since. This is just through Network 54, which is a fairly old message board hosting site. It's free, so the price was right. I'm probably going to upgrade to a more modern forum at some point, but I'll keep that as an archive. So anyway, that's the video page. You can also email me there too, and that gets forwarded to me. Then going back to the destinations section here, got home, video, music. Music is basically where you can download MP3s of a lot of my music. Some of it you'll recognize from YouTube, such as Shaving Day, Personal Demons, Regrets, and Spy Chase, which you can hear in the Music of Zaranyzerak playlist on my YouTube page. Both of the original video blog themes. Oh, I don't actually have the newer video blog theme on here. I should put that one up there. Just for completion's sake, and the opening theme of Buddies, which was the short little comedy film or comedy video that I did with my brother Cass. Last of the Amiga stuff. Now, when I started composing music on computer, I actually started doing it on an Amiga 2000 computer, or an Amiga 500 actually, and then I later moved on to an Amiga 2000. Actually, no, I started on Amiga 2000, then I got my own Amiga 500, and then got my own Amiga 2000. That's sort of how it went. Anyway, the Amiga was a computer that was really popular with artists, musicians, and video makers in the 80s and 90s, because it could do things that PCs and Macs just couldn't at the time. Unfortunately, it wasn't very well marketed and died very quickly. It originally debuted in 1985, and then Commodore, the company that produced it, went out of business in 1994. But over the course of those 9 or 10 years, there was some pretty amazing stuff done by some very talented people, such as myself. Actually, I got into the Amiga scene quite late. It was on its last legs at the time. But anyway, this is the last of the songs that I composed on the Amiga before I moved on to using the PC for composition. And then we have the modularized archive, which basically has all of my earliest compositions on the Amiga. I started composing in 1992 on computer and carried on using the Amiga until 1999. And then after that, around 2000, 2001, I moved on to doing composition on the PC, just because it allowed me to do a lot more than I was able to do with the Amiga, because the Amiga had basically gone the way of the dodo by that point. So Modularized was actually my first album. I had an MP3 site on mp3.com. Now, this is when MP3s were still fairly new, and not a lot of people knew what they were or anything about them. So it was like the big new thing. And so there's this site called mp3.com, which I discovered, and there was a lot of independent musicians on there. So I heard a lot of really good independent music on there, and got to know some of them, and exchanged information, and talked shop and whatnot, and it was a lot of fun. But then it kind of got commercialized. A lot of established bands started making profiles on mp3.com, and suddenly mp3.com didn't want to promote the little guys anymore. They wanted to make money with the big guys. So basically effectively pushing the independent artists out the door. So I basically said, fuck this, I'm out of here. So I took my profile and my mp3s, and unfortunately all my contacts, if you're out there somewhere, hey, how's it going? Yeah, it basically just all fell apart. But in the heyday of mp3.com, they had a program where you could actually have them produce a CD for you, and they would produce it on demand. So as people ordered copies of it, they would make them and send them out to the customers. So Modulized, if you actually click on the picture here, it brings up the full-size version. Modulized was a compilation I did of slightly remixed versions of some of my favorite compositions that I'd done on the Amiga. This cover graphic was also done on the Amiga, actually. This sphere was done in a 3D animation program on the Amiga, and then I just cloned it and positioned it and everything in the background using Deluxe Paint 4, which was a really good paint and animation program at the time. And then I just did the titles directly over the picture in Deluxe Paint 4. This is before the days, really, of layers and things like that. So, anyway, just a simple graphic. It looked pretty cool, I thought, and the primitive look of the graphics kind of reflected the primitive nature of the music. So I thought that was appropriate, even though it was basically, I didn't do it so much because it was appropriate or an artistic choice. It was basically because it was all I had available to me at the time in terms of art programs. So here you have all 15 tracks that originally appeared on my first album on mp3.com, which hasn't been available for a very long time now, all available for download. So you can download all 15 tracks from that if you want to hear some of my early stuff. And going through the list here, there's extensive notes and information about each and every one of the songs. So they tell you when I originally composed them, a bit of a background about them, and just sort of what the idea was with each one. So probably far more information than the average human wants, but it's there, and it's kind of a personally significant thing. So that ain't going anywhere anytime soon. And then, of course, we have my blog, which you've seen the link to in my... what's going on here? Click here to download plugin. Okay. Sorry, when I rebooted the computer right before doing this video, and it said... okay. Oh, hang on. What the hell is going on here? Okay, hang on. I'm going to pause for a second because for some reason when I updated my Flash player, it screwed everything up. I'll be right back. Hey guys, gals, and undecideds. I just checked the time when I paused there, and I fixed the Flash player. Everything's fine now. Sorry about that. Only when you're demonstrating things, that's when everything screws up, right? Anyway, I just took a look at the time and realized that this is running really long, so I'm going to split it into 2 parts, maybe 3 parts, maybe 4 parts. Maybe it'll be a 12-part epic. I don't know. Anyway, this is the end of part 1, because I see we're already up to almost 14 minutes. So I'll see you in part 2.